kind of the safe routes to the school information on there. So again, kind of jumping around here because it was kind of a late notice that this was available to us, and so Stephanie Simmons and her team there at the foundation started working on the application this weekend, and then kind of looking at it. We met on Friday with Stewart and some people at Schwab Eaton to kind of say, hey, is this viable? What would this look like? What would we recommend to the council that we would do as a next phase of the plan, which part of the Safe Routes to School plan that Aware already put together for us back in 2012 would we recommend going after. So she looked at the application this weekend. There's just a couple of verbiage that we needed to change. We already passed a resolution like this in 2014, so this would be a very similar resolution. It just has some updated language there, wanting to see if we were to pursue this. So again, a resolution is just a fancy action, just saying we would do this. And obviously, if we decide not to pursue the application, then the resolution doesn't mean anything because it's not tied to anything. But we might as well go ahead and pass it. Especially, I was nervous with the July 4th meeting, not quite sure what we wanted to do. That's kind of what I wanted to do. So I figured before we even vote on the resolution, we might as well kind of move that straw poll we're going to take about this particular project up from the work session into this action right here. So I'll kind of go into the presentation of that. So if you look from your packet, you kind of had the route and information that we had for the Safe Routes to School. Primarily, what this grant is out there for, they've increased the sum of this, and it's basically alternative transportation funds. So the federal DOT administers this to the regional the state DOTs for them to fund for alternative transportation, so non-street projects, non-traditional transportation methods. So this is geared towards trails or sidewalks, these types of things, bridges across rivers, etc., for pedestrians and bikers and everything like that. So this alternative transportation that we would package this under is under that Safe Routes to School, since we already have that pretty well studied, identified, inventoried, and pretty well, lack of a better word, shovel ready. It's ready to just plug in there, and it's really a great lesson to myself and a couple others working hard on the HEAL committee and really coming up with a great catalog of potential projects. Again, it's just kind of just a plan, and kind of like this is. So it's great to be able to eventually here pretty soon we're going to have that ready to when these types of calls for projects come up, these dollars out there. There's probably not a lot of communities our size that are going to be able to spring into action and say, hey, we've got something that fits here. Where we're not going to have to chip in a whole lot, or we can get a lot of bang for our buck. So this is one of those. It's a pretty good case study that a team of people a couple of years ago did a lot of work and got us in a position where we can even consider something like this, whether it's a yay or nay from you guys today. But as you'll recall on this, we have the blue sections that we are currently either in bid letting. I assume we're going to probably get the bid back sometime this week. I need to follow up with Haley over Schwab Eaton, but it's supposed to be, I think, bid openings this week and next or something with KDOT. So that would be on the project on 12th and 4th. It'll be going in, probably get constructed in August sometime. It's probably when they're planning, at least that's what the bid docs, from what I recall, said that they would be trying to do. So for this next call of projects, that is up to a $500,000 limit they could go for, and it's this as you read my notes, this section of dollars is about $2.4 million, and it's only for towns of 5,000 or 5,000 people or less. So again, I think it's a good lesson of being prepared and having these, that we can jump on this compared to a lot of towns, probably 5,000 or less, that may not be ready or have things ready to jump onto these types of projects. So there's some money available this cycle, and then next year there'll be another about $1.2 or $4 million available for another round of projects. So the Safe Routes to School that we would be proposing for you guys and saying, hey, yeah, go ahead and go forward that application. We obviously we need to bring that application back for final approval, hopefully on that July 3rd or 5th meeting, whatever we decide to do. And then it's basically outlined in this yellow and in the red. So it's basically up there from North Long, where we've identified we've got some major needs. Even in HEAL, we've identified it. Obviously, Aware did a while back, and obviously all of us that drive through there can kind of identify that. Coming up from the high school over to the football field track, and then over to the elementary school. And then it kind of dots through there, because there are some good sidewalk that has been graded down Bell Street, but there's also some areas, so it helps extend those dollars. And then up and down, I think it's Poplar over there by the cemetery. So again, that's kind of the other areas that is identified. The nice thing is, again, we're getting those east-west laterals, and now we're starting to get the north-south too. So we're getting that nice crisscross, so that really can channel kids. A lot of different parts of town, but also, you know, up to the schools, up to the track and field. You know, there's a lot of different entities and people use. So that's kind of the scope of the project. And again, we are responsible for 20% match, but also for some of the, I believe, I think I wrote it in there, but some of that initial design, engineering, and then I think, or design, how was that word? There's some upfront engineering stuff that we're responsible for, but then there's some just project engineering that didn't be covered. I think it's for the observation stuff, that's covered at that 80-20%. But I have a bug in my throat here. But that $150,000 number I calculated, that's a pretty rough estimate based on the numbers that Stuart and Jesse put together, Schwab Eaton. I think, yeah, here's kind of where it spells it out as far as the shared expense. That's kind of where that number was coming from, and it probably would be taking place in 2019, yes.
So this project would be put in by city crew,
No, this would be bid just like it is now, through KDOT.
so a contractor's gonna come in and put in
Correct.
sidewalks?
Correct, just like the Safe Routes to School project that's gonna happen right now. Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, with these dollars comes it's not a noose, but that rope that comes along with it, of that we have to bid it through KDOT, follow their guidelines, those things. So, kind of why Stuart, and I just, again, you guys make that decision, but the recommendation would be to go ahead and go for that little bit larger amount than what, you know, the 200, which before I don't think you could go beyond the 200,000, but you might as well go for that 500,000, because there is quite a baseline of mobilization and engineering, and with these KDOT funded projects, since it's their specs and their bids, you know, there's a little bit more of a layer, so you don't get quite as much bang for your buck. But kind of our theory is that, again, the more buck you spend, you know, you got the contractor here, you're gonna get a little bit more, your dollar per foot gets cheaper as the project gets larger, since you're already.
How much engineering is needed for a sidewalk?
Quite a bit, because of a lot of the ADA compliance issues. So you have a lot of, you know, slopes and yards, grades at intersections. I mean, it's actually, it sounds crazy, but it's not as simple. You know, maybe where your yard is, or even mine, it's fairly flat, but you drive up and down some of those sidewalks, you can see where there's retaining walls, and of course you gotta put the plans and specs together to meet the KDOT expectations, and you gotta go after all the easements. Unfortunately, some of these dollars aren't, again, they're not as, if we were just about to do this, it may be cheaper, but it would cost us more than $150,000 too, you know, so I guess that's one way to put it, you know. That makes any sense.
What happens if a landowner puts in their own sidewalk? I mean, I'll just use myself for an example, up there right north of elementary school.
Yeah.
If several of us up there were gonna go ahead and put in a sidewalk, what happened, I mean.
Yeah, I think I know what you're gonna say. Basically, if it was already there, it would just extend how many dollars we could spend somewhere else. Yep, because that's what they're going, just like this project now, you'll see, and if you remember, you know, we're not, you know, if there's a perfectly good sidewalk, we're leaving it. You know, if it's in trouble, then we're gonna tear it out and put some new in.
Those would have to meet their specifications on.
It would have to meet, yeah, it would have to be the
In order for them to.
5 foot or whatever.
Right.
Typical sidewalk, yeah, and ADA compliant, so there is some of that, and so that's why a lot of these, sometimes even once we have stuff, we might tear out a panel or do some work through the driveway, or some places where the homeowner doesn't quite get it, you know, laid right, that makes any sense.
Is there any way that if a landlord or landowner was to do that, would they be able to get the specs that are required? To where if we had a construction company come in and do it, they could lay it out to where we wouldn't have to come back in if they decide to do this down the road. I'm talking
Yeah.
like our,
Yeah,
to the street, and then I'm talking like to the driveways,
you know.
you know, if that has to be at a certain slope.
It would probably be a Stewart. If we can talk about it offline, yeah.
Are they doing the engineering?
Schwab Eaton? Yeah, they would be, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think, yeah, I think you're on the right track, I just didn't think exactly, but yeah, I think there's not, it's, like I said, there's quite a bit of sidewalk, especially on 12th that we're not even touching, so obviously, it's probably been there for 20 years, you know, so I think as long as it's that 5 foot, and it doesn't have any angle issues, which is probably a lot of it, you're fine, you know. A lot of it just happens to be from the driveway, or even going through somebody's driveway, a lot of times they don't want to get it canted right, and so that's what we end up having to cut and lay it right, because it just can't have more than like a 1/4 inch per foot, or some side slope. It can have some side slope, it's not. So anyway, so I guess at this point, we don't have an application for you to necessarily approve, but, you know, I guess from a kind of a straw poll, is there interest? I mean, if we brought this back, you know, at the July, because the applications are due July 7th, so, you know, assuming we have a meeting that fit, if we brought that, would that work? That'd be something that you guys would be interested in and want to do?
I'm enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, Matt, you know, okay. Yeah.
Do we still need to act on this resolution?
We do, yeah, let's go ahead and do that, just so we know we got that in our pocket, and
Isn't that consensus?
it probably is, yeah.
Motion to approve resolution 2017-7, safe routes to school.
Is there a second? Been motion to approve by Councilman Graybon, resolution 2017-7, seconded by Councilman Ponto. Is there any further comments? No further comments, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda this evening is the LED street lights.
Motion to approve.
Bid for the amount of.
Second.
My meeting. Whoa, first time I got to do that. Make note of that. I gotta get, okay. We have a motion by Councilman Draymond to approve the bid for the LED lights for the amount of $10,795.55. Now, do we have a second? Second by Councilman Miller. Any further discussion?
Does Steve have anything he wants to say?
They're just replacements all over town, just upgrading.
I was amazed at how much it saved us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them we're doing right now is in the residential areas. And like the downtown with the concrete poles, they're gonna be, it's just gonna be a bulb replacement. The ballast from the sodium lights will go out and we'll line bolt just to the bulb. The bulbs are about $85 a piece. And we got 128 lights. And right now, those bulbs are fairly new, so we're kind of waiting to get the bugs out of them and get the price down. So that might be towards the end of the year, depending on how much money's left in our streetlight budget to nail some of those.
Any other questions? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Gotta hurry here or we'll get beat. Next item on the poll bids from Bridgewell Resources for $13,233 and one from Chris Davis for $11,136. Motion to approve. Motion made by Councilman McMillan that we approve the bids from Bridgewell Resources and Chris Davis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Draymond. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda this evening is the July 4th council meeting. You guys want to have that on the?
Can we back up to this, these polls and
Sure.
talk something? We're doing this with the city of Glasgow,
They piggyback on with us to get a good price for them.
just so they can put more on the truck.
That's just on the streetlights.
That's on the street.
Yeah, not the poles.
Okay.
They've done it in years past. They've, to get a good price for them, they requested to be piggyback on with us on a big order. And they're billed separately from whoever the vendor is. So it's a totally separate deal, but it helps them out.
That's a good deal.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is the July 4th council meeting.
You don't want to meet on Independence Day?
I'm here, I'll be here.
Well, yeah.
Just the fireworks.
Yeah.
To serve our country on.
We can have it after.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially with that safe routes to school application, we probably at least need to meet the 3rd or the 5th. I mean,
Anybody gonna be traveling the 5th? So that takes that long weekend?
I have a softball game on
Well, that's out.
The third works here.
Monday work?
Monday would work.
Monday work? Monday. It'll be Monday then.
Is it possible we can meet like at 6 instead